Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Leading Off. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia. That, of course, is Dinger Dan Harris, and it's you. And we're talking all things baseball on a glorious Thursday morning. The sun is shining. It was such a nice day here yesterday in Jersey. I got to go out to the gym. I came back home. I sat outside. I got some more work done for Fantasy Pros. It's glorious, and I'm on vacation starting tomorrow, which means that Dinger Dan Harris is going to have to pick up the slack. Here's the question, Dan. Are you ready for all of that without Joey P tomorrow?
No, I'm not. Anyway, but I was just commenting, people watching live, I did start today's broadcast all by myself. Like, I got this going. So when this crashes, it is my fault. I apologize. But yes, tomorrow, Brendan Tuma, one of the OGs of Leading Off, will be joining me. I will slide into the Joey P host chair. Brendan will be the analyst, and we will try to do the show justice. But I will miss you. It's certainly your first vacation since you joined the company, right?
Yeah. First of all, first vacation in like 2 years. I told you, I don't think I've had 3 days off in a row from everything. In literally years. So this will be nice. I got a weekend here and there, a day, maybe 2, but 3 days. I'm going to be, so if you think I'm energetic now, wait till you see Monday morning, baby. Strap in. It's going to be a 3-hour leading off action spectacular. But let's get to the ups and downs from last night in Major League Baseball. Let's start with Adolis Garcia, who had not been good hitting at home, but yesterday, 2 dingers. Now he's got 20 as a rookie. Adolis Garcia looking pretty good at the plate. Robbie Ray helps the Blue Jays win their 4th straight, beat the Marlins 3-4. He outdueled Trevor Rogers in that game. We talked about Robbie Ray yesterday being our dude. His ERA is in the mid 3s. I think it's like 3.3 or 3.4, something like that. That is exactly where you want a good pitcher like Robbie Ray to be. What a wonderful season he's having. And Luke Voit has been a revelation for the Yankees. He comes back, he hits a home run 2 days ago. Last night, gets the walk-off big hit there. They beat the Royals 6-5. So Adolis Garcia, a streaky hitter. He's got power. I will continue to say if you can sell him, sell him. But if you are just in a season-long roto league, he's going to hit 30 bombs. I mean, that's going to be what it is. The question is, now he's got 20 before the All-Star break. How many does he have from here, halfway, through the rest of the season, the second half?
Probably like 12. That's where I'll go. That's
exactly
12,
the number
right?
I was thinking.
Okay.
Yep.
So I like you, Joe. I did not buy into Adolis Garcia. Like, it's just not. It's the type of profile where everything screamed to me, pitchers are going to adjust. And to his credit, he was very vocal about the fact that he knew that pitchers were going to adjust. He was trying to get ahead of the curve and adjust in advance. And for a while he was. And then he really wasn't. His numbers from June don't look impressive. His already minuscule walk rate is like so infinitesimally small that I can't even see it anymore. He's still striking out way too much, but he does have power. So he is still going to run into some every once in a while. He's still going to be a guy you can start in fantasy leagues. I agree with you. I'm not trading for him in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to have him whatsoever. But bottom line is he's got 20 home runs, as you mentioned. That's one of the league leaders. You can't really deny it. So, yeah, he's a guy who's probably has more value to your fantasy team than he would if you tried to trade him.
I think there's some power-hungry teams, especially outfield's been terrible. So, Adolis Garcia, listen, I'll tell you right now, if you get a package of Michael Conforto and like a toss-in pitcher for Adolis Garcia, I take that deal in a second. That's exactly the kind of player I'd be looking at. He just came back from the IL. Michael Conforto has a longer track record, better batting average, all of those things. He's got equal power to Garcia. And if we're talking about 12 home runs left in that tank, well, how many does Conforto have? He's probably got at least a dozen probably left in that tank, if not more. So that's exact kind of deal and the guy that I would target for him. I don't know what the trade chart says about Adolis Garcia, but after a game like yesterday,
not that high. I mean, high enough where it's like he's like that, Joe. He's basically exactly what you're describing.
You want a Conforto and Ross Stripling for Adolis Garcia, right? Everybody wins. Like, everyone's happy. You got what you got. I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what you're looking at. And when he has a 2 home run game like this, it kind of, bounces up his value again after it had kind of gotten a little quiet. And you're like, oh, maybe I missed the window. Well, look, the window's still open. Before we get to the downs, let's get to the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Josh is calling me out. He says he's been on vacation all week and he's been here every day. Josh, I need a day off. Okay, Josh, it's a lot of work.
I'm not going to lie. I did this show from my mother's house, as you recall, Joe. So, I mean,
yeah,
I feel
but like the hotel might have spotty internet and stuff like that. I just,
fair.
Plus,
let's be honest.
All over every show all the time.
Tuma appearing on the show is basically like his birthday wrapped in Christmas morning, wrapped in New Year's Eve.
I'm excited. I will be watching.
He cannot be more excited. I'm actually like, I've been texting him like, it's cool, dude. Relax. It's not a big deal. It's gonna be fun.
It's fine. It's a half hour.
He's a sharp dude. I'm glad to have him on. The one thing I do want to mention about Ray, by the way, because it is worth when you look at the actual numbers, because we know like, oh, he's not really walking people. I mean, he had a 17.6% walk, 17.9% walk rate last year. Mm-hmm. He's got a 6.3% walk rate this year. I really, truly believe that someone finally got through to him and said, your stuff is great. And again, his strikeout rate is right where it always is, 31%. Great, fantastic. Higher than it has been in his career. Just said, throw it over the middle of the plate, man. Let your natural
stuff a little bit. Yeah.
And your movement do it. And look, this is great. I have no doubts about Ray anymore. I mean, other than maybe his health, this is legit. It's great to see. It's good to see a guy with that stuff finally harness.
It is, especially because you're so frustrated when you see him look dominant at times, and the next start he's walking 6 guys. Like, it's just a very frustrating thing. So and it's huge for the Blue Jays. It's what's going to keep the Blue Jays in it. Him and Ryu at the top, if they can keep getting good starts out of Stripling, I'm telling you, the Blue Jays are in a place where I think they can add a pitcher and they could really challenge here. They're just getting George Springer back now. It is almost July, and you've gotten zero productivity basically out of George Springer all year, which was your big acquisition. You get Springer back in that lineup with Vlad and Bichette. Holy hat. That is a tremendous situation there for the Blue Jays. And I think the Blue Jays, last time I checked, anywhere on betting pros between 4 and 6 to 1 to win the East. I think that is the wager of all wagers now that the Rays are out of it, in my opinion. I think the Rays without Glasnow are out of it. I'm sorry, that's what I think. All right, let's get to the downs here because that's always fun. Indians right-handed pitcher Aaron Savali is going to miss 4 to 5 weeks with his finger issue, so that sucks. That's going to sink the Indians. Ronald Acuna scratched with lower back tightness. Ronald, did you not get the memo? You were my home run call. I had to change it to Matt Olson like everybody else, and then Matt Olson didn't hit a home run, which I was... Right. In a way, it wouldn't have moved the needle because everybody picked Matt Olson yesterday. And then, of course, Trevor Story with a 2-run home run game yesterday. So that's good to see him starting to heat up a little bit. Also, a bit of news. Keston Hiura getting recalled because Dan Vogelback going to the IL with that leg injury. So I don't think this was in the plans for the Brewers. I think they had no choice here. I told you my theory about this. You send him down. This is their chip. But now you have no choice because you need somebody who could play first base, and here is that guy for them, especially with Travis Shaw also banged up. So, the Brewers keep winning games. The Central is a little weak. They've also had a good schedule of late. But here we go again. People asking me, should we pick Keston Hiura up off the waiver wire? I guess so, but what do you think about this? I might as well, just to see.
I guess so, and I might as well is the correct answer because it's like I'm not excited about this anymore. He crushes the ball when he's in the minors, absolutely crushes it, but he still strikes out a ton. It's not like he goes down there and he's like, "Oh, I have fixed this issue that has plagued me that I strike out 40% of the time in the majors." It's a little bit less, but it's still way too much. If we want a reason to be excited about this, okay, if we are looking for a way to think maybe this is going to be different this time, it's the fact that their MLB is cracking down right on the foreign substances. It's an environment that favors hitters a little bit more. Strikeouts are probably for the most part going to be a little down, so maybe that favors Hiura, but. Yeah, it's been bad. And again, he crushes the ball in the minors, but he's still striking out too much. What you really want to see is like, I would rather you not get as many hits, but stop the strikeouts. That hasn't happened. So I would add him just because there is a lot of potential, like you said, but I'm not really all that excited about it.
All right, important question here from Aaron. He wants to know, do I trade Luis Castillo? I can only assume he means that Castillo. For Alex Wood and Brendan McKay in a Dynasty Roto League. No, you don't. Alex Wood has a terrible history of injuries, and Brendan McKay, I don't know. I'm just not, no. You roll with Castillo. I know it's been weird. Dan, also, are you growing a beard? That's a question that also Aaron has for you.
I really appreciate that question. Thank you very much. I'm not in any way, shape, or form, mostly because it would not look normal. Like it comes in great,
Do you have
like
the do you have the
right.
patchy? Are you
No patchy. Comes in
okay?
great, like here, and then it kind of comes in like right here, but then there's like a whole. It's not perfect. I am instead waking up too late to shave before the day, and then I'm just like I work out, I go for a run or something like that, and then by that point I'm like, what's the point of shaving today? So it's just been a couple of days. Eventually, probably tomorrow, I will be clean shaven.
I saw the funniest tweet yesterday actually about this, which is why I'm laughing because somebody said that guys who have patchy facial hair and keep trying to grow beards for like the 700th time is the equivalent of when women try to get bangs. And I was like, I think, yes, that is exactly true.
Well,
That is exactly true.
it's just very obnoxious right now because it comes in normally, but like it's like right here, it's like no, we really don't want it. We don't really want to come in there, and like
this is gray here for me, right here.
oh, it's great. This is right. This
Mm-hmm.
is where it starts. Great. So I do appreciate that. I don't mind sort of the stuff. Like I'll leave stubble. My kids, oddly enough, think it's really cool. They call it a scratchy beard. They like when Dad has a scratchy beard. So sometimes I'll leave this.
You look rugged. I think you look cool.
Thank you. I need
rugged
all the help
Dan
I can
Harris.
get. I tell you that. So
yeah. All right. Yesterday we were having that conversation about Garrett Cole and other pitchers we put in that conversation. I want to read some stats to you from a pitcher this year. He is 6-3 with a 1.89 ERA over 15 starts, 95 innings, 111 strikeouts, and a .76 whip. Would you put this pitcher just on stats in that same conversation with Garrett Cole? I think you would, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You want to take a guess who that pitcher is?
No, I hate when you make me guess. Just tell me, please.
It's Brandon Woodruff.
Oh, yeah.
I think is another pitcher that we just don't give enough credit to. And another good start from him yesterday, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. 9 strikeouts, yes, against the Diamondbacks, but still, that ERA is at 1.89, .76 whip. I mean, he's been tremendous, and I think he deserves to be in that conversation of those elite pitchers. I mean, we don't like to throw the word elite around, but Brandon Woodruff's been good for 3 years now. Like, this is the third good season for Brandon Woodruff. And I know he had that injury 2 years ago in that breakout season, and I know last year people say, well, you can get the full sample. Enough already. Brandon Woodruff has nothing left to prove to you people. Stop. Just leave him alone. Leave him as elite. He is that. And he's elite cheap, which is the best kind of elite because people don't even realize how good he is. Shohei Ohtani and Gossman were in a duel yesterday, and Ohtani came out of that game. He had 9 Ks. They didn't have the DH. I think that's what they did yesterday. They let him. This was like the first time that's ever happened, right?
You got that?
Take this to the story.
I think what it was. I think what I saw is that it was the first time in history that a National League team had a DH, while the American League team did not have the DH. That's what it was.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to.
Well, if he's the pitcher, he can be in the designated hitter spot, and then when he comes out, you have to replace him with the person who replaces him, so he's your pitcher. So that's what it is. The bottom line, it's history every day. Something
every
new
day. Shohei Ohtani every day. Right. Also history for Matt Manning, got his first career win. Congratulations, Matt. Yeah. Good for you. 1 strikeout versus the Cardinals. Boy, I couldn't be less excited about that. Trevor Story, we mentioned with his 2 dingers. German Marquez in that same game, 7 Ks for the Mariners. German Marquez could help a team like the Mets. He could help a team like the Yankees. He could help a team like Boston Red Sox. He could help a team like the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes. Toronto, if you're listening, this is that perfect guy you can add. He's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, but I think he would be a fantastic addition. Jose Urquidy, 7 shutout innings for him, 6 Ks against the Orioles. Jose Altuve can't be stopped. The Astros can't be stopped. I love this. I love the villain. It's so great. Altuve, 2 for 5, another home run. He's been red hot in June. Yeah. Was he up to 10 home runs now in June or something ludicrous like that? It's got to be at least 8. I know it's at least 8. Brantley, 2 for 4. Gurriel, 2 for 4. Alvarez hit a home run. Correa, 2 for 4. Tucker, 2 for 3. Toro, 2 for 5 with a home run. We've been calling him a free square all week.
Yeah, right.
He's still a free square today. Great stuff there. Romano had a scoreless inning, back-to-back saves for him. Rich Hill, 5 innings, 5 Ks. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. What's the Jose Altuve June
10,
home run?
10.
Is it 10?
And it went from 1 to 5 or something, or 6 to 10. Yeah, it's got 10.
Love it.
1 to 6 to 10. Yeah, crazy.
Now there's also duds too. You got Garrett Richards, 5 runs, 4 earned against the Rays. Chapman blowing a save there, but again, it's human. And then
he's getting beat up a little bit in June. I will say this.
He's not the same guy he was 5 years ago.
No, None but 7 runs. I mean, look, it happens. I know it happens, but he has been far more hittable. And again, anybody who gets hittable, I haven't looked. Maybe Mayor can do a little research for us on the quote unquote spin rates that we like to look at, about whether or not that has anything to do with Chapman. But anyway, yeah, he's been rough, but he's the Yankees closer. So really, that's all you care about when you are rostering any relief pitcher. So go ahead.
Trevor Bauer. Look, I don't know what you want to think of this start. He gave up 3 runs, gave up some home runs, 10 strikeouts though, so I really don't care. Like, you're gonna give me 6 innings, 10 Ks, and a quality start. Basically, like, I'm okay with that. You know, Trevor Bauer's just not going to be as good as he was last year. But anybody who thought that going in was nuts.
Yeah, it was a weird start. He walked 4 guys, and the spin rates were actually massively down, but he still struck out 10 guys, as we said, and the velocity was fine. So it is kind of weird. Again, Bauer is not a guy. You mentioned Woodruff, Joe. I mean, I moved Woodruff. Woodruff is my 5th ranked starting pitcher right now. Rest of the season, I prefer him to Bauer. I have him. I mean, they're basically even on the trade chart, right? So it's these guys, this big just group of pitchers who I value pretty similarly. But I do have Woodruff 2 spots higher than Bauer right now, and that is where I would go. Woodruff is awesome. He's been doing it, like you said, basically for 3 seasons in a row. And with Bauer, with the spin rates, this is where, like, again, I had Cole as my number 2 pitcher. Now he's my number 3. I had Bauer, I think, at 4. He's now 8, but in that sort of big mix, because I do think the lack of sticky stuff does bring these guys down just a tad. But anyway, nothing really to worry about. But it is worth noting that his control is a little off right now.
Yeah, well, it's worth noting that he's never going to match last season. Last season was a magical 12-start run.
Yep.
And that's always what you should have taken with a grain of salt, because it wasn't 25 or 30 starts. Whenever you have a smaller sample size, as great as it is or as bad as it is, you can't overreact to it. And that's a lesson that we were trying to put out there ahead in all of our coverage this year, and trying to glean certain things, but not, there were some things like the Taiwan Walker small sample size. It was very encouraging. So there was reasons to be encouraged about that sample size. There was reason to be encouraged about a couple guys like that. But then there's also reason to be hesitant and realize, okay, we shouldn't put Trevor Bauer in that Jacob deGrom category or that Garrett Cole category. He's more in that Aaron Nola-ish category, like somewhere in that 1A kind of a tier for me. And Brandon Woodruff, on the other hand, should be ahead of both of those guys, in my opinion. And it's time to start thinking of him as that. It's a Brandon Woodruff show today. We're giving him nothing but love. Injury news and notes. We talked about Acuna. Mookie Betts also missed yesterday with an illness. Ketel Marte missed yesterday with a hamstring. Shocker. And then Marcus Stroman's MRI was clean, so that is good, because the Mets certainly need a sigh of relief with these injuries. They get McNeil back, they get Conforto back, and then they lose Stroman. So it's been a constant juggling act, yet they're still at the top of the East. Somehow the Nationals ended up sliding into that 2 spot there. This National League East is kind of fascinating right now.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't even know that until yesterday either. But yeah, they're like, what, 4.5 games back or something like that?
That game was nuts, by the way. I mean, we didn't talk about it. That it was just back and forth. I think it wound up being 13-12. Everybody got a hit in that game except Juan Soto. Somehow Juan Soto is at 13. They scored 13 runs or whatever. Juan Soto went 0 for 5. But yeah, the Nats, I mean, kudos to them, man. They lost Strasburg. Scherzer's been kind of in and out. Corbin's been quasi-useless. Soto was down for a while, but you've got Kyle.
And he's been cold. He hasn't had a home run in 3 weeks. It's been
I know. It's been weird. That's why you haven't even been calling him for your home run call yet at all. But Josh Bell is maybe getting a little, warm.
Well, Schwarber's been carrying them. Schwarber's had another red hot June. Also, yesterday in the Mets broadcast, I picked up a little fun stat here. So this was innings pitched per start since 1960, like in a decade at a time. So in the 60s, innings per start, 6.4. In the 1970s, 6.5, 6.23, 6.03 into the 90s. So this all makes sense, right?
Yep.
Then we get to the 2000s. Innings per start in the 2000s, 5.87. In the 2010s, 5.73. And then 2015, 5.79. 2019, 5.8. 2020, 4.78. And then 2021 so far, we're at 5.10. So that is interesting. That's basically almost from 1960 to 2021, 1.3, innings less, or actually more like, it's somewhere in that. So it is a different game, and that's just something you can't compare things to the 60s. It's a different era and all that stuff, but you can compare it to the 2000s. You can look at it and go, okay, that's not that long ago, and realize that 6-inning pitchers, 7-inning pitchers are rare, and they are worth the premium. And I think it's worth discussing it, and it's why I think when you see a guy like Robbie Ray start to be more efficient, it becomes very exciting because the efficiency keeps his pitch count down. It keeps him out there longer because he's pitching well. And he goes from being a historic 5-inning pitcher, which Robbie Ray kind of was, to a guy who's going now 6 2/3, 7 innings. That's what's very good. And that's something that, when you see the evolution of a pitcher, it's very encouraging because the rest of the herd is more in that Rich Hill 5-inning range.
Yeah. Well, I do think that, especially for fantasy, it's a little bit of a market efficiency, which I thought about this a couple of years ago, but it's especially true right now. Guys who are throwing a ton of innings, especially coming off last year, and not killing you, just make an absolutely huge difference. I mean, Bauer's got over 100 innings. So does Sandy Alcantara. I mean, he's got, 101.1. And when you're putting up a sub-3 ERA in that amount of innings, when you have other guys, Zach Wheeler, right? He's a guy who goes, I don't love Zach Greinke, but Zach Greinke is giving you innings every single time out. Makes a huge difference for fantasy because, again, if you've got a guy who's going 5 innings every single start and he's going to wind up pitching 140 innings, well, his numbers just aren't going to move the needle as much as a guy like, Bauer, obviously, who's going to surpass 200 innings in a season like this. So, yeah, especially now, those innings eaters. And it was hard to figure that out coming into this year because of what last year looked like. But innings eaters right now, they just make an absolutely huge difference, and they have way more value than other guys.
All right, before we check out on the home run board and get to the DFS stuff for today, I want to remind everybody, the sponsor of today's show, in case you don't know, is always Manscaped. That's right. Now, I, of course, heading to the beach, so I manscaped myself yesterday. I'm ready to go. The beach is ready for Joey P. So you should be manscaped as well if you're heading out to the beach or to the pool or anywhere, or just because you have a little respect for yourself. Go to manscaped.com. Use that code leading off. We have 20% off, free shipping. What more can you ask for except the Lawnmower 4.0, the greatest grooming tool in the history of grooming tools, and it's a long storied history. Let me tell you, they're teaching it in schools now. I heard they've had to update a lot of the textbooks because the 4.0 came out. So there's a lot happening, a lot going on, but it can be yours. The longest battery life ever, which I challenged yesterday, and still the Lawnmower 4.0 undefeated there. The LED light, I just kind of, once again, you can just hang out by the cool blue light of the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0, put on a little Van Morrison, pour some wine, just kind of relax and manscape away. Again, go to manscaped.com. 20% off, free shipping can be yours with the code leading off your balls. Will, thank you. Speaking of pairs, it looks like we've got a duo now at the top of the home run board because Dr. Glenn, move over because the Wonky Penguin is right there. Wonky Penguin, Dr. Glenn, both with 10. And that rhymes. I'm very Dr. Seuss this morning. So who did you? Mike Zunino? Really? You called Mike Zunino Wonky Penguin?
That's what I'm saying. She is on fire. By the way, can we give her a shout out a little bit? Just because, as you know, keeping track of the home run calls, which Mayor does with aplomb, is very difficult to do. Okay.
Yes.
100%. Wonky Penguin. Not only does she rock on her home run calls, but she has been a great help in helping keep everything managed and stuff like that. So shout out to Wonky Penguin, who's not only a soothsayer, but is also very helpful in managing the entire thing. So Wonky Penguin, we see you here. Your wife's, she's always here with us also in the morning. So thank you so much for your help, and stop getting everything right because it's making us look bad.
Mike Zunino, I can't even.
That's it. That's why she deserves even extra credit. She goes with Mike Zunino. It's like, look, it's like when I called that Eugenio Suarez, right? They're going to get one hit a week. And you hope that it's the home run. And she had it right. So did I with Suarez. So
yeah, great job there. Unbelievable. Yeah, they're definitely sharing that Back to the Future guide. Also, I want to shout out because now tied at 7 with myself and Dan is Mr. Wagoo. With Manny Machado's dinger there. So good job. And if you want to get in the home run calls, where can everybody go to do that, Dan Harris?
in fantasypros.com/chat. Again, we have a home run calls channel. People are always asking, where do I go? It's a channel. If you go in, if you're a premium subscriber, by the way, because Discord you can get in, there is a general chat channel, but there's like 40 channels at, MLB, NBA, NFL that you can get in. If you are a premium subscriber to Fantasy Pros, it's a home run calls channel. That's where you make your calls. That's the only place where we officially allow it, except for my son, Will, who participates through me. He is not a member of Discord, but because I am on Discord all the time, he makes it. And Joe, I don't know if you know, he did get his first home run call correct yesterday with Jordan Alvarez for his home run call. He is on the board. Even Will is on the board, and he barely understands baseball. So get in there, have some fun, beat Will. And it's really a great time. And when somebody gets one right, like the whole crowd goes nuts. It's really fun. So
yeah, it is very cool. It is a fun thing we're doing here. So get in and get involved with that. All right, let's get to the 8 games we've got in DFS. For the pitching slate tonight, look, you got Jose Barrios, who's 9K on FanDuel, but 10-4 on DK. Yeah. So FanDuel is a place to play Barrios. Garcia's pitched very well. He's 9-6 on FanDuel, 8-7 on DK. I think that, as that secondary arm, it's what you want. Walker Buehler is over 11 on both. That's your safe cash game guy. But Barrios you can play in cash or in tournaments tonight on FanDuel, either way. I would stay away from everybody else on this slate pitching-wise. Those are the only 4 I would focus on, just because of the way things are matched up. Because hitting tonight, there's a lot of opportunities, including Pittsburgh, which you're going to laugh at me, but Carlos Martinez is on the mound, and that guy is a human gas can. So Pittsburgh should be in play tonight. Houston should be in play tonight, of course, like they are every night. Toronto, they have a series coming up here against the Orioles. It's going to go right into Toronto. Boston, Cincinnati. There's so many good stacks you can go with tonight. So you're going to lead some lineup builders. Jonathan India, 2.6 over on FanDuel. He is 5 and change on DK. There's your price variance of the day. And yesterday we talked about Ryan O'Hearn. Remember Free Square Ryan O'Hearn from the Mackenzie Royals? I saw that. I think he went yard. That's 2 days in a row. The cheap guys going yard here. Ryan Mountcastle, 2.8 on FanDuel. Anthony Santander, 2.2 on FanDuel. And Austin Riley, 2.6. Santander also 3.2 on DK. Miles Straw, 2.5 on DK. He's been hot this month too. So that's kind of the slate. It's a small slate. So I would just, keep it simple. You want to go Walker Buehler? Cool. They're kind of due for a win anyway. But at the same time, I think Barrios is your best value on the board, and Garcia is just a good pitcher. It's not a big-time strikeout night of pitchers. It's like Walker Buehler and then a couple guys, and then it drops off a cliff, and I'm not playing around with those dudes. So do you see anything else here you like tonight in DFS, or is this pretty much the scene?
No, I think you nailed it. Those 3 pitchers are the only ones. I probably would go with Garcia on DK just because of the price. And again, against Detroit, they're just not scary whatsoever. I like Barrios, but he always does have, watching him in that first inning is my sad place, because I'm always like, no, just get through the first inning, just to get through, and then he's going to be locked in. So he's fine. But I have no problem if you can pay up for Buehler, doing it just because the Cubs strike out a ton, and he's going to give you 6 innings.
Yeah. All right. It's time to call our shot, and I'm going to set it and forget it. Okay. I'm going to call Vlad Guerrero today, and I'm going to call Vlad Guerrero tomorrow to make it simple for Mayor. So just carry me over, Mayor. I got Vladdy today. I got Vladdy tomorrow against Matt Harvey. That's it. Just give me Vladdy. I'm going to go on vacation. Hopefully Vladdy will hit 4 home runs, and I'll go past Wonky Penguin and Dr. Glenn, as long as they don't take Vlad Guerrero. And it seems like you are sticking with the Blue Jays today as well, my friend.
I am, as is Jesse Canino, who is in our chat right now, who just called it out. I am going with the Blue Jays with Teoscar Hernandez for my official home run call. I will be making another one tomorrow, okay, because I'm not going to be all on. Whoa.
Oh, it happened again. There it is.
Wait,
Solo Joey P.
Right,
oh, damn it. I love when Solo Joey P hangs out. For those of you who don't subscribe already to the YouTube channel, again, when funny things like this happen, where Dan Harris just disappears from the screen for whatever reason now 2 days in a row, it becomes the Joey P show. And I have to slide over so I can stay inside the box that our wonderful tech team, which is basically Chris, has created for us. So, funny stuff.
As you're not going to be here tomorrow, so if that happens while it's me hosting with Tuma, everything's going to break loose. It's going to be terrible. Dogs and cats are going to be living together. Anyway, I'm going with Teoscar Hernandez, but I will be making another home run call tomorrow, just so I could, get the benefit of not being a slacker and taking my first vacation in 6 years. Like you.
You know what's disconcerting? That when we do this show, I see the numbers of live watchers always go up, as I'm doing the Manscaped read. So I don't
People
know.
tune in for it, man.
Is that what it
People
is?
tune in.
By the way,
assume.
did you have an announcement? I thought you had an announcement today. Was it about the merch? Is that what the announcement
No,
was?
no. Oh, somebody asked about, hey, when are we getting the leading off merch? And I said I will have an announcement soon. It is
Okay.
It's
It's
very
not the
close.
announcement of you growing a beard. That's not the announcement
No,
today.
that's a horrible thing that I would never publicly acknowledge. That I would just be like, oh no, I'm not trying to do this. I just haven't shaved in a day. But yeah,
You know what you
no.
need? The Lawnmower 4.0.
Obviously, of course. That's actually, I'm a walking advertisement for it. Don't look like me, people. Okay, go get yourself a Manscaped 4.0.
I could grow a beard in like 3 days. Like just.
I know you've got that going on for you.
I was like,
that's
and then
great.
I get sick of it. I want to take it on. And
Well,
then
I
look like a child when I do. So.
There are times where I go after it, and then it's like 2 weeks in, or maybe like a week and a half, and I'm like, I'm just. I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore.
No, it definitely gets to that point.
Whatever.
The struggles are real. And thank you, Josh. Enjoy your vacation, Joe. I earned it. Tell Dan I earned it. He's like, what are you doing? How dare you leave me? Take a day off. All right.
I'm very
any final thoughts here for us before we close out the show today, Dan Harris?
Just that I hope you have a wonderful time off. You have earned it. You work very hard. Enjoy your time for a couple of days. Come back swinging, man, on Monday. Let's go.
Ready to go. I will miss you. I will miss this. Even one day without Dan Harris is too much, and 3 days in a row, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll be back Monday. Dan will be here tomorrow. Yep. Same time, same channel. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube to get that. The Tuma, and there's never too much Tuma, not ever. He will be here with Dan Harris. They're going to have a great time tomorrow, and then we'll be back together again, reunited, and it feels so good on Monday. And don't forget about FantasyPros.com/MLB contest, where you can get that Shohei Ohtani baseball. Leave a review in Apple Podcasts. We're almost at the end of the month. We need more reviews. We need Dan Harris to read those reviews. Go to Apple Podcasts, CastBox, drop that 5-star review. It takes 2 seconds to do, for God's sakes. And then screenshot it. Go to FantasyPros.com/MLB contest. Upload it. Fill out the form. Ohtani baseball could be yours if you check your spam. Thanks to Pristine Auction. And I'm actually going on Pristine Auction right now because I have a Ric Flair thing that I'm going to be bidding on and winning. And that's what I want. I got a nice spot here for my autographed Ric Flair thing there that's going to go right above the Shawn Michaels poster that I've got autographed that I actually, in person, he did for me. And now I'm going to have a Ric Flair right over that for the office here. So I'm very excited. So go to Pristine Auction. It's a cool place. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. On vacation, Joey P. That, of course, is Dan Harris. We'll see you next time, kids.